Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Chiefs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy start to training camp. It's going to be a busy week. Not only that, it's going to be a hot week down in St. Joseph. Luckily for us, we get to stay in the air conditioning, just take in the news and the sights and sounds. But the players, they got to be out there in the heat. We know that Andy Reid's training camps, those are no joke. We'll see how they do. And of course, despite training camp starting, there is still news and rumors going around about potential free agent additions that the Chiefs could add. We're about to dive into it all. But before we do, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. We have daily videos. That's right, daily videos Monday through Friday here at Chiefs Latest. You don't want to miss any of the action. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now we know Rashee Rice has his sentencing. We know that there is a suspension looming. I've already talked about two potential additions that the Chiefs could add in Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen, but there are two more that have arisen since, of course, we know Rashee Rice facing a suspension. Now, the Chiefs believe it could just be 2 to 4 games. The baseline for something like this within the NFL is around 6 games. This all stems back from his March 2024 Dallas crash. Again, Chiefs Kingdom, we're buzzing about a veteran wideout addition, and the newest name to pop up is Gabe Davis. Now, you remember Davis probably from a lot of things, but one particular moment would be the 13 seconds game in 2021 with Buffalo as he torched us, 8 catches, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The guy's a big play threat, but I'm not sold on this, and I'm not sold on bringing him to the Chiefs. Now, Davis signed a 3-year, $39 million deal with Jacksonville in 2024, but they cut him in May after a torn meniscus tanked his season. He had a career-low 20 catches, 239 yards, and only 2 touchdowns. Yes, he's a boundary receiver who can stretch the field, kind of like, an MBS or a Justin Watson. He has 16 and a half, plus yards per catch, but I'd rather see Brett Beach again chase, an Amari Cooper or a Keenan Allen for Mahomes rather than a Gabe Davis. Of course, this all matters from the suspension impact. Rice had that breakout year, his rookie year, 79 catches, 938 yards, 7 touchdowns, had us all excited about what we would see in 2024. Of course, had that injury, only got 24 catches, 288 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 4 games. So there was some positive there. We thought we were going to see that leap again. Sadly, came to an end. And then a suspension, though, overlapping with, let's say, Hollywood Brown having another injury or the suspension being longer than it was previously thought, that could leave Mahomes leaning no too hard on Worthy or Travis Kelce, who has a lot to prove this season as well, or wants to go out with a bang, as we assume this might be his last season before retirement. And the Chiefs want to get back to a vertical offense. They want to go deep in 2025. Davis's speed fits, but again, 2024 drop off, his injury, that raised red flags compared to, Cooper's red zone skills that the Chiefs need desperately, and his reliability, or just Allen's route running savviness. Davis, though, in 2023, 45 receptions, 746 yards, and 7 touchdowns, 16.6 yards per catch. So not too far removed from a decent season, but again, last season, that injury, I'm just not sold. He could backfill Rice's role, sure. He could pair with Worthy's speed, Kelsey's middle of the field dominance, but again, Cooper or Allen, I think, offer more polish. And if we're so worried about another injury happening in the receiver room, why would you bring in someone with a meniscus tear, failed physical designation, and back in May? He's a real gamble. So yes, he could stretch defenses, but again, his 2024 lows, his injury, I think that's going to make me lean towards a Cooper or Allen for a smoother fit with Mahomes. Beach, though, needs to act fast, whether he is bringing in someone, whether that is Cooper Allen or Gabe Davis, or yeah, there's someone else too that could be brought in. What if they brought in another AFC West rival? That's right. Another name floating out there is Tyler Boyd. However, I'd take Gabe Davis over Tyler Boyd any day. I think he just doesn't have that spark anymore. I think he's lost it. He's now 30, spent 8 seasons with Cincinnati, racked up 513 catches for 6,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, but his 2024 stint with Tennessee, that was a huge letdown. He's on a 1-year, $2.4 million deal. managed just 39 catches for 390 yards in 16 games with the Titans. And it's the first time in his 9-year career he didn't score a single touchdown. That sounds like serious regression. Second round pick in 2016 was a Bengals staple, but I believe we're starting to see his career wind down. Now, of course, didn't have good quarterback play last year, but that makes me question if he's the answer for Mahomes. Yes, Mahomes could rejuvenate him, but again, I would go Gabe Davis over Tyler Boyd. And I feel like having him, Boyd that is, and Juju Smith-Schuster, I feel like that's just a redundant type of production. I feel like they're going to give you the same type of production. It's going to be too redundant or not, impactful enough. Again, though, he could fit the system. The Chiefs want a vertical offense in 2025. He has that, 10 yards per catch. It screams potential, but it still does not move the needle for me like others out there. In his career, 552 receptions, 6,390 yards, 31 touchdowns, 17-game average, 69 receptions, 799 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Last season, 39 receptions, as I mentioned, 390 yards, 0 touchdowns, 57 targets. He would be budget-friendly. $2.4 million deal is what he was on last year. I still just don't think he brings much impact. So he could be a safe pair of hands, but again, 2024 dud, 0 touchdowns. I think that makes Davis the better gamble if you're looking for a spark between the two. But I'm going to repeat it again. I still think that Cooper or Allen would still be my top picks to keep Mahomes, firing and to keep him going. But let's talk about who's at training camp. That's right, the rookies. And who are the top 5 rookies to watch? Let's get a little breakdown here. Here's my take. Training camp's here, and this rookie class finally got them all signed. And I think it could turn some heads. Now, my top 5 are Josh Simmons, Omar Norman-Lott, Jalen Royals, Noah Williams, and Brashard Smith in that order. Now, Josh Simmons, our first round left tackle, he starts camp unrestricted. Andy Reid said he's good to go. They're not going to hold him back. He's going to help anchor the line, especially on the left side, while Jalen Moore fills in at right tackle because we know Jawan Taylor right now is on the PUP list. Simmons was a beast for Ohio State's 2024 national champion team. He allowed 0 sacks and 300 snaps. Really impressive. When we look at Norman-Lott, second round DT, he is a high upside pick despite limited college snaps. And I think he is second for me in players to watch because we had to wait for him to sign his contracts. And now we gave him that money. Now he needs to perform, but his 18.9% pass rush win rate eases Chris Jones's load. But again, it was a reach to get him in the second round. I'm hoping that he proves me wrong with that. Jalen Royals coming in at third. He's a third-round wide receiver. He could climb to wide receiver number 4 or higher now that we see Rice going out. He could easily pass Juju Smith-Schuster. Again, Rice, organization believes 2 to 4 game suspension could be anywhere from 2 to 8, honestly, or 2 to 6. But again, his versatility as a deep threat, his possession as a receiver, it's huge. He's going to be fun to watch. Going to Noah Williams at number 4, fourth round cornerback. He brings some ball hawking skills to a solid secondary right now. But he's more of a project, and he could push for a starting role later down the road, maybe next year or the year after. And then you finish top 5 for me, Brashard Smith, 7th round running back. I think he's a steal. He has that RB3 potential, and he screams, I can be used on special teams. So why this ranking? I think we got to look at immediate impact. Simmons protects Mahomes' blind side. Norman-Lott is going to help boost a pass rush that dipped to 39 sacks in 2024. It's going to help, Jones not have to take so many snaps and give him a little bit of breather. So those 2 are my top 2 because they're going to be immediate impacts, or so we think. When you're looking down at 3 and 4, those are your future stars. Royals, Williams, they add depth behind Worthy and McDuffie, with Smith, who comes in at 5th, offering versatility if Pacheco's injuries persist. Again, looking at Simmons and Ohio State, 0 sacks allowed, 1 penalty, 300 snaps. PFF, 83.1 overall, 82.0 pass block, 68.7 run block. Norman-Lott in Tennessee, 18 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 27 pressures. In his career, 89 tackles, 13.5 sacks, 17 for loss. And then Royals too, though, while sitting, in that 3-4 spot, again, he could make an immediate impact with Rice facing a suspension. He had 55 receptions last year, 834 yards, 6 touchdowns, 15.2 yards per catch in 7 games. In 2023, he had over 1,000 yards and 15 touchdowns. Impressive stuff. These are all impressive rookies that the Chiefs are bringing in. Because even if you look at Williams last year, the corner out of Cal, 7 interceptions, 9 pass deflections, 52 tackles, 40.9 QB rating allowed. Impressive. And let's round it out with Smith last season, 1,332 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, 5.7 yards a carry, ACC first team. It's all about immediate impact for me and the 1 and 2. Norman Lott, he's going to join Jones, Mike Pennell, Tillery. Williams going to back McDuffie and Fulton. Royals gives you that offensive spark. It's going to push Smith-Schuster, which I think he needs. Smith adds some special teams value, adds that RB3 upside. So this is perfect. These are the top 5, I believe, rookies to watch out for. Let me know in the comments who you think should be the top 5 to look out for, or at least what is your ranking with those top 5. But we're not done. We need to talk about why Karlaftis got a deal before McDuffie, because, including myself, people thought Trent McDuffie was next in line after the Trey Smith deal, but no, George Karlaftis inked a 4-year, $93 million extension with $62 million guaranteed. So he's going to be locked up through the year 2030. Karlaftis, 2022 first rounder. He's been a pass rush beast, 24.5 sacks in 3 seasons, and 3rd most QB hits in 2024. He only trailed Zach Allen and Trey Hendrickson league-wide. This deal was a no-brainer. The Chiefs had Karlaftis' 5th-year option for 2026, but the skyrocketing edge rusher market, that's what pushed Veach to lock him up now before costs climb higher. Again, McDuffie's market is set. Sauce Gardner got the $120.4 million deal as the ceiling, and the Chiefs often wait out for DB contracts anyways. Plus, you look at Felix Anudike-Uzomah, he's probably a bust, and look at that bust status, and Charles Omenihu and his injuries. This needed to be done quickly. You don't have as much depth there, so the Karlaftis deal was urgent. Of course, again, the main reason, though, is because edge rushers like Karlaftis, they're premium assets. Career-high 28 pressures, 4 postseason sacks in 2024. He's a cornerstone on this line. Look at the cornerback market. Yes, McDuffie, 82.1 PFF coverage grade. That's elite. But again, there's some depth, or at least you have some promise behind there. When you look at Anudike-Uzomah, 3.5 sacks in 2 years. Again, Karlaftis needs to be prioritized. McDuffie leads with Fulton, Williams, but the Chiefs can wait on his deal with his $13.6 million 5th-year option 2026. But again, I still think it's risky because this market could rise faster than the Chiefs initially think. But again, Karlaftis getting the deal done. You fix a rising star, you get him at a premium position, good price, while McDuffie waits due to, a more stable cornerback market right now. And again, I think it really has to play into Anudike-Uzomah's potential bust. But don't sleep on McDuffie's payday soon. Of course, I talked in the episode on Monday about how I don't think Brett Veach is done signing players yet. And I think Trent McDuffie is the next to get his extension. I just thought it would have been before Karlaftis, but it just shows that I'm a human and I am not always right, but that's all right. That is all right. Well, with training camp starting, we are expecting a fun and busy week. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Again, I am your host, Calvin Silvers, and let me know in the comments what you think about any of those additions for Rice if he does get a 2 to 4 game or even longer suspension, who your top 5 rookies are to watch in training camp, and do you think that was a good reason why Karlaftis deserved his extension before McDuffie? Again, I am your host, Calvin Silvers, and until next time, have a good one.